what's up? It's Joe Raiti from Raiti's Rides. We are back here at West Shore Mazda in Tampa, Florida, and guess what? We have some Soul Red SUV action for you. This is a 2023 all-new Mazda CX-50. This particular one is the 2.5S with the preferred package. But before we get into this all-wheel drive versatile machine, let's talk about what's going on here. We have already brought you the turbocharged version of this vehicle, the top trim. And if you haven't seen that one from the official Mazda media event, I'll leave the link for that one at the end of this review. But of course, we got to stay true to what Raiti's Rides is all about. And it's not just on throttle action, because we definitely stick to that. We also like to bring you the other trims. So this is kind of like the other end of the spectrum with this new CX-50. So what does this really entail? Remember, Mazda, being a smaller auto manufacturer compared to some of the bigger brands like Toyota, they really have been doing a bang-up job when it comes to especially their SUVs. Their top-selling vehicle is the CX-5. Now you're probably saying, well, Joe, CX-50, CX-5, did they just add a zero and call it something different? It's the same vehicle? No. This is actually longer than a CX-5, and it's got a lower roof line, which gives it a pretty cool appearance, even when it's sitting still. Now, one vehicle that reminds me of the way that this one looks in particular is the Subaru Outback. Now, over the years, the Outback has been a lifted wagon, but Subaru has been smart, and they kind of transitioned away from the word wagon, because wagon is like, get away from me, wagon, station wagon, I'm not driving a wagon. They blended it into their SUV lineup with the Forester and the Ascent. So what I want to do is, there's two different things I want to do with this review. I want to find out, first of all, is this 2.5S with the preferred package, is it worth the price with what you're getting at the end of the day? And on top of that, I want to find out, is this the better way to go than a Subaru Outback? Because both of them have all-wheel drive. Let's go ahead, let's dive into our Soul Red CX-50 and find out. Right off the bat, like I was telling you, I definitely want to give the designers a high five. They did a great job making this vehicle look kind of muscular without going too over the top. Now, at the front of the business, you're going to notice the new headlight style direction that Mazda is going in. Like we brought to you with the refreshed CX-5, you're going to get those LED daytime running lamps, LED turn signals, which are actually mounted down below in this smaller area. And then you have those LED projector beam style headlights. Now, what I do love is at the front end of the business, you're getting some functionality. You're having those functional corner air intakes, just like the fully loaded turbo version, even though this one is naturally aspirated. So it's nice to see that they're functional. Plus, that gives it some of that kind of strength in its appearance. And I love the way Mazda does the styling with very nice, smooth curves. Now, as we come across the grille, this is where it's really different from the CX-5. You can see how the vehicle is actually a little wider, and the grille does not drop down as much. It stays more in the midsection. I'm digging this smoky metallic finish that they have with that usual outline of the grille. It actually matches the badge, believe it or not. That's what that design is supposed to do. On the 2.5S, you are getting flat black, whereas on the higher trims, you do get gloss black, but it is functional. Didn't go too crazy with the size of the Mazda badge. And then working your way down, more flat black, but we have functionality on the lower area as well. Now, when we get up onto that low slung hood, you actually get a bulge that rises up, because everybody wants a bulge, right? Rises up, heads towards the windshield. Other than that, that familiar, clean styling. Now, what I like about the CX-50 over the CX-5 and the Outback, it doesn't look as bulbous. CX-5 looks a little bit more rounded, but then, you know, you got the Outback, which has some weird round angles to it. Really looking sharp the way that they decided to go a little round, but then also give you some hard body lines, especially on the fender flares. This thing has some fender flares that are drop dead gorgeous. Now, as we come around the bend, what are we working with on this 2.5S trim? You're looking at a 17-inch wheel, so this is gonna be your base size wheel. Obviously, we brought to you on the other one a 20-inch wheel. Now, what's interesting is the way the wheel's designed, it doesn't look as small as a 17. I actually thought it was an 18-inch when I first saw it, but I actually kind of dig the way the wheel goes well with the rest of the vehicle. It's 225 on the width, 65 series sidewall, and then you got that familiar multi-spoke design. Of course, we got some black cladding, but unlike the upcoming refresh of the Subaru Outback, it doesn't go too high, and I kind of like the way they kind of shave some of it at the top here, especially with the flared fender. Now, as we go down the side of the vehicle, instead of having flat black mirrors, we got metallic gloss black mirrors with your turn signals. I like the aluminum finish on the roof rails. You got a sunroof. And on the side, I think the cladding comes up just a little too much. I would love to see this painted all soul red. I think it would be very, very interesting. Now, the Outback is a little bit larger, almost in that mid-size kind of thing, but with the extra length and the extra width, this thing is right on, the CX-50 is right on the edge of being a compact vehicle. Color matched on the door handles, love that low roof line, and then this is what I was telling you about with the flared fender. On the back, I'm gonna have Lori kind of swing around. On the back side, the way it comes off the door into the rear, nicely done. Just a little bit of shiny bright metalwork on this boomerang area where the quarter window is. And then coming around back, what do we have? Nice low roof spoiler, all painted, soul red. Yes, we have a wiper, but you know what? For the 2.5S, I'm not going to zonk it at this price point, and we'll get to the price, don't you worry. And then Mazda does a bang up job on the taillights. Nice LED setup, brake lights, turn signals. You could see that they have that vent like they do up front, but this is not functional. So we're gonna zonk this on the back. I wish that they would have made that functional like up front. It was a little too good to be true, but you know what? It still looks damn good. I just wish it was a little functional. Coming across, you got your all-wheel drive badge. All of them are standard with all-wheel drive, CX-50 badge, and then I love the way they finish it off with one exhaust on each side. Nice round shape, even cut, and that really balances out the back, especially when you're looking at the Outback. The Outback has a little bit more of a unique, I think that's the best word I could use, unique shape, especially at the back. But why don't we go ahead, let's pop the hood and see what's powering the CX-50. All right, guys, we got the hood popped. You do have hydraulic hood struts. And underneath the hood, it's kind of interesting to compare this to the Outback because they're kind of similar in a way. Two different engine options, naturally aspirated or turbocharged. Obviously, in the Outback, it's a flat four. In this vehicle, it is your tried and true inline four. Tasteful on the engine cover, and just like any other Mazda with the 2.5 liter naturally aspirated engine, you're looking at 187 horsepower, 186 pound-feet of torque, 6-speed automatic transmission. So unlike the Outback, no CVT. Thank you, Mazda, for doing that. 0 to 60, not fast. Not fast at all. You're basically looking around 8 seconds. 8 seconds flat. I know it's not a drag racer, but it's nice to be able to get out of your own way. Top speed, 125 miles an hour. MPGs, 24 in the city, 30 on the highway, and the vehicle weighs 3,700 pounds. Now, like I was saying, you got that standard all-wheel drive. You got some decent towing capability. Why don't we go ahead, why don't we get to the interior and see what the 2.5S brings for the money. All right, guys, we're inside this 2023 Mazda CX-50. Like I said, that 2.5S with the preferred package. I know you're saying to yourself, well, Joe, thank you. Thank you for sticking to your word and being true to Raiti's Rides and bringing us the other trims. I've been very curious about this trim. The other one is out of my price range, so lay it on me. It's now time to let the cat out of the bag. How much is it? MSRP, the way that you see this one with the preferred package, is right at $33,000. Let's see what you get for the money and how it stacks up to the Outback, to the door panels. You'll notice you're still gonna get that same clean style. Now the zonk is the top plastic portion is as hard as Plymouth Rock. So if you wanna know what the Pilgrims felt like, just touch that and you'll know. Now, I do like the metallic silver. There's this soft, like pillow top material right underneath the silver. And then armrest, same kind of thing. It's on the softer side, which is great. Door pocket is a pretty good size. So I would say you could get 2 beef and cheddars from Arby's and some curly fries and a bottle of chocolate milk to wash it all down. Doesn't that sound like a fun day to you? Anyways, going from the door panel to the dash, I do like the way they brought the soft touch. AC vents are nicely styled. This, I don't like the way it looks, but I get it. They couldn't just give you one AC vent for the passenger. So what they did was they cut out this little rectangle and gave you an AC vent. I think it would have looked a little bit nicer if it was wider. Let me know how you feel about this little guy in the comment section. There's that pillow top. Feels like a little squishy ball, like a little Nerf ball. And then what do you got? You got your 10.25-inch infotainment system. The biggest news is that it's got wireless Apple CarPlay, wireless Android Auto, and you could use it as a touchscreen with your Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. The rest of it is still using the control knob, that direct drive control knob. You got your navigation, you got your settings and everything else. Let me throw it into reverse. Actually pretty good. They worked on the resolution, even on the lower trims with the camera. I wish it was just a little wider. If you got 10 inches, first of all, you're lucky. Second of all, use all the space in your infotainment system. Put it back into park, and there we are. Working your way down, we do have our dual climate control, that nice silver finish. It's got a good feel to the knobs. Start stop button, easy to get to. You got a Twinkie tray, 2 Twinkies, and a 12 volt. Don't stick your Twinkie in there, kids. It'll hurt. 2 cup holders, and then your key fob, your standard Mazda key fob. The one thing I just want to point out is you can't get your Yeti bottles here. So the Yeti is going to have to go somewhere else because, as you can see, they put this a little too close to the AC controls and your heated seats. So something to be aware, you might have to go with the Yeti Junior to put in there. This guy's going to control your 6-speed automatic transmission. Nice material on the shift lever. You got your MI drive control switch. I'll show you more of this when you get to the business side of things. There's that direct drive control knob. It actually works pretty good. Don't be too hard on it. And like I said, you could use your Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and touch the screen. This is nice and soft. And that's where I think Mazda kicks Subaru's butt, is just the materials. You got enough room in here to actually have 2 USB-As, plus, guess what? Get yourself that extra large beef and cheddar. Why have the same size as everybody else is? You bought this thing. You're driving their lazy butts around. You get the double beef and cheddar with horsey sauce. Doesn't that sound like a good time? Seats, nice and soft with the contrast stitching. You got some grippy cloth material, and I'm okay with that with this entry level, but they did a great job with the bolstering, manual seat controls for the passenger. I get to move my body around with a little bit of electric assist, 8-way electric assist seats. And you know how I told you about there's a sunroof? There's a panoramic sunroof. Talk about being preferred. You are diamond medallion preferred, 360 preferred, and you're preferred in here with some extra sunlight from the thing that keeps us all alive, the sun. But why don't you get your butt over here? I want to show you behind the wheel of this CX-50. All right, guys, come on into this 2.5S CX-50. There's your seat controls. See, I wasn't fibbing. They're easy to get to, and you got that lower lumbar. I'm 6 feet tall, and I love the extra space that you get within this CX-50. Let me know what you think about the lighter headliner. I know some people, when they see the lighter headliner, they think like 1990s Toyota Corolla or Suzuki Swift or something like that, or maybe a Geostorm. Let me know what you think in that comment section. But I love the room that we have. Steering wheel, it's all about the driving enjoyment and engagement. Way better wheel than the Outback. Love the way they hollow out the center. Nice silver on the buttons. It is a manual tilting and telescoping steering wheel. And then you got a nice digital speedometer area in the center, which you could actually go through different information. Really, really cool. And then here's the modes I was telling you about. You got off-road mode, you got normal, and then you know how we're doing it, sport mode. The rest are analog gauges, tach, coolant, and fuel gauge. But why don't we get into the back seat and see if your passengers are going to be happy campers back there while they're stuffing their faces with curly fries and horsey sauce after you take them to Arby's. Let's go check it out. All right, guys, backseat time, and Here's another area where you just see how much more room there is compared to the smaller CX-5. It's gonna be close between this and the Outback. I really would like to get a tape measure and a T-square and a protractor and measure both interiors. But we don't have time because we like to go on throttle instead of getting all that matte stuff in the way. But let's see what we got. The backs of the seats, you got the nice material, soft all the way, no pocket. If you're sitting behind the driver, you do get your 2 AC vents and 2 USB A's. So I'm liking how they brought that. I have my own pocket here. This is gonna be a good place to put those curly fries, those nice large packages of curly fries while you're at Arby's. I'm not digging that hard plastic. I wish they would have just gave us soft material up here and then make this part hard so that when you're back here, you could actually be comfortable with your elbow and not get really dry elbows that gross people out. The great news is though, you do have a center armrest, and this is Charmin soft. Like, this is not gonna give you any kind of like rub burn moving your elbow around on this Charmin soft armrest. With the 2 cup holders, you got the same design down the center here, nice and grippy. Why don't we go ahead though, let's get in that cargo area and see how it stacks up to the competition for the CX-50. All right, guys, cargo area time. Let's see how this stacks up against the competition. Now, because we have the preferred package, you get some preferred accessibility. This is obviously electric rear hatch. What are you greeted to? A ton of space. This is where the CX-50 flexes the guns, its muscles, to the CX-5, the smaller sibling, because we got 31 cubic feet of space with the seats up. I love the nooks. We got 2 big nooks. You could actually get a big old gallon of jungle juice, put that on both sides when you're at the grocery store. Underneath here, you are getting a nice size spare, which is great. And then, can you fold the seats down? Of course, I can fold the seats down. And what's nice is they have handles. Boop. Boop. So there's your seats. I'm gonna push down on them just to show you how flat they go. We'll kind of fix this a little bit. There you go. You're ready to go to the Best Buy, get the freaking largest TV they got. I think it's like 106 inch, and slide that bad boy in there. But you know what? Watching TV's fun, especially if you're watching Raiti's rides on it. What's even more fun is let's go on throttle and see how this CX-50 drives. All right, guys, we're in this 2023 Mazda CX-50 with the naturally aspirated 2.5 liter inline 4. As you can see from the red speedometer, we have it in sport mode. And like I said, I really want to show all the trims. Let's go through this roundabout. What's great is that you're going to get awesome handling. I really like the way the CX-50 handles. Just like the other Mazda vehicles in their lineup, it's all about that driving enjoyment and driving engagement. Getting to all the controls that are simply laid out is very easy, and I understand why they don't make the screen a touchscreen. It's a little too far of a reach, but like I said, hook up your Apple CarPlay, your Android Auto, and you'll be able to touch the screen if that's what you want to do. Anything else, you're going to want to use the control knob here. Since nobody's behind us and that person was driving a little erratically, let's do some on throttle. So in sport mode, on throttle, here we go. So you're getting that nice linear torque delivery. Obviously, like I said, not the fastest, but the great news is it's not too buzzy. That's one of the things I like about the inline 4 in this vehicle, is that it's not too buzzy. Even when people are flying right in front of you, you can feel safe though, because you're gonna obviously have the suite of safety features, including blind spot monitoring and emergency brake assist. I like the leather on the steering wheel, and I think for the price, it's interesting how they decided to make some changes from the top trim that we had while we were on that media drive in Santa Barbara, California. But visibility in this thing is great. I love looking in the side mirror and seeing the rear flared fender off of the passenger door into the rear of the vehicle. And having the preferred options with the panoramic sunroof is a nice extra touch. All right, guys, pulling away from this light. Oh, throttle, here we go. 6-speed drops down and we are off and running. What you'll notice is that the sport mode really changes how the transmission and the engine behaves with one another. It helps you have a little bit quicker acceleration because the transmission does not have to necessarily drop down as many gears. And then when you get off a throttle, it sort of hangs on to the gear for a little bit longer than when you're in normal. And I'll go ahead and put in normal. And I think that's how it needs to be, just 3 modes. Some of these vehicles are getting a little out of control with how many modes they have, and it's hard to differentiate the feel between them. And if you want to see what the off-road mode is like where we actually do some off-roading, watch the review at the end of this one that I left the link to that CX-50 Turbo that we drove in California, because we did some pretty crazy off-roading for this type of vehicle. I was very, very impressed. And like I said, it's just interesting here in Tampa how people just like to turn in front of you, but you got great visibility to see it all go down in the CX-50. So that's a really nice touch. Seats are comfy, especially the lower cushion. That's something that Mazda has always done a great job with, is just how comfy their seats are. And somebody who doesn't want to break the bank, but yet wants this really unique look and more interior space, I think the CX-50 checks off so many boxes, especially with standard all-wheel drive. But hopefully this gave you a nice overview of what this vehicle brings for the money to the table. I'm going to get back to West Shore Mazda and wrap this one up, so I'll see you in a split second. All right, guys, it's been one heck of a day here at West Shore Mazda. Definitely want to thank Ray and the rest of the crew for getting us access to this 2023 CX-50, that 2.5S with the preferred package. Let me know what you think. Is this worth the price with what you're getting compared to the competition? And would you rather get this over a Subaru Outback? Let us know in that comment section. But until we meet again, if you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Raiti's Rides family. We got to give it up to the Rock behind the lens. She will do what is needed to be done to bring you the best video content. Show Lori some love in that comment section. Thank you, Lori, for all that you do. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.